Hello everybody, welcome back. Upfront Off-Road here, and today I'm going to be doing my 4-year, 80,000 kilometer review of my 2019 Dodge Ram 1500 Classic. So without any more ado, let's get right into it. So let's start off strong with the 5.7 liter Hemi that makes 395 horsepower and 410 foot-pounds of torque, paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. This truck is super fuel efficient with lots of power, and speaking of all that power, this truck came from the factory with a dual stainless steel exhaust. Now, this is a high-quality exhaust system from the factory, being full 409 stainless, which means it contains 90% iron and a magnet will not stick to it. This system should last a very long time, even up here in Canada above the Rust Belt. That being said, this truck's dual exhaust system sounds really good. It has zero drone and a moderate exhaust note, not super loud, but it's got a pretty good bite to it. Above all else, it still sounds pretty good. Now, this truck being fuel efficient, it gives anywhere from 10 to 13 liters per 100. It also depends on how you drive, whether or not you speed has a big factor in that. I've also seen people get them down to as low as 9 on the highway. Now, let's move on to driving and comfort. This truck, having independent front and rear suspension, also with front and rear coil springs, gives it a very smooth ride from the factory. However, there is a downside to this. When it comes to hauling or putting a lot of heavy stuff in the back, this truck does squat really bad in the rear. Now, its squatting really isn't a big deal. The 5.7 Hemi has no issue hauling heavy loads by any means. Just keep in mind you might want to consider getting an air ride system for the rear just to keep it from squatting too much. Now, my favorite, let's talk tires and rims. This truck came with 20-inch black alloy rims from the factory. Now, I'm not a fan of the 20-inch rim for a few reasons. One is that it's just way more expensive to get tires for them. And number two, when you don't have a huge tire on there, you can kind of feel like every pebble on the road. I don't really like that. I usually run 17s or 15s if I can on all my vehicles when I run 33s or 35s. But then again, it's not the end of the world, and these rims have stood up really, really well. I'm quite impressed with them. And the tires they came in were absolutely terrible for durability on snow, ice, mud, or gravel. I remember when I first actually got this truck, I had like 3 or 4 flats in one weekend, and the truck had less than 5,000 kilometers on it. But they're just, your average terrible street tire. I wouldn't recommend anybody using them. I would upgrade. I replaced them with the BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrain tire, and they have been absolutely awesome. I've had zero issues with these tires. I have around 80,000 kilometers on them now, and they have been an exceptional tire. They're really good in the mud, ice, and snow. I have a separate video reviewing those tires if you'd like to see that. Now let's talk durability and longevity. So after over 80,000 kilometers, the only thing I've had to replace on this truck was a passenger side brake caliper. Unfortunately, it wasn't covered under warranty. It was pretty much just after my warranty ran out. And one other thing I do want to mention, at over 80,000 kilometers, it does need a new set of brake pads, which really isn't a big deal. That's pretty average, so I'm okay with that. Now, when it comes to changing the oil, this is one of the things I like about this truck, is that the oil filter is a really big pain to get at. It's kind of difficult to get it off without making a mess. It's not the end of the world, but I just feel like they could have done a better job and found a better place to put that. The only bad thing I have to say about this truck is that they don't have the best resale value, and part of the reason for that is that Dodge just sells these a lot cheaper than most other trucks. They almost always have deals on, anywhere from 10 to 25% off, and they do usually offer lower interest rates. So it does kind of hurt the resale value of these, and they do pump them out steady. But if you plan on keeping it for a long time, that's really not the end of the world. Now let's move on to interior and creature comforts. I just want to say this truck has a very spacious, nice feeling interior. It's not super luxurious by any means, but I think it's a very clean, simple interior with a few gadgets here and there. I quite like the heated seats and steering wheel. This is really nice, especially since we live up here in Canada, above the Rust Belt. So in winter, also this truck comes with remote start, which is an awesome feature. Now this truck, it doesn't have the best sound system out there, but it works pretty good. It's not as good as like the Alpine kit that Dodge has, but still, it's a good sound system. This truck also has power driver seat, which is kind of a nice feature. I quite like that. Also, these seats are very comfortable. I've had no issue or complaints with them. I like this cluster display. It's also very easy to navigate. You can check the history of the truck, trip, fuel mileage, all your stuff, speed. Really easy. And also they get the infotainment system here, all the different modes, which I quite like as well. You can do your climate, settings, radio. This truck also has lots of room in the back, so if you're going on a long road trip, you got to put all your stuff in the back, or you're going to have someone sit in the back. They have lots of room. There's no issue that way. Also, as a bonus, this truck has rear coolers in the floor, which I think is a pretty cool feature. You can just kind of hide your stuff down there, put the mat over it, and you're good to go. Also, one feature with these trucks is they come with LED lights in the rear box, which you can turn on from a button in the back of the box or from the interior, which I think is pretty cool. It's nice, you know, you're trying to unload stuff at night. That helps out a lot. And the button to turn them on and off is right here. So that's it for the video today, guys. If you thought that was a good video and you want to support me, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below, and we'll see everyone later.